Hey guys, I'm T and welcome to the channel. If you're new here, we make trendy and fun crochet tutorials twice a week, and if you haven't already, smash that like button, drop a comment below, and subscribe to join in on the fun. Here's a snazzy unisex sweater. Been getting a lot of requests for pieces that would work well for men, and seeing as this is a channel for the people, I thought now's the perfect time. Plus, it looks good on me, so ladies, this one's for you too. If you do plan on making this one, leave a comment below telling me who it's for. I'm curious about the split. Now, with all that said, let's get straight into the video, so without further ado. For this project, any category 4 yarn will work, but I used 420 grams in gray heather, and that's approximately 650 yards if you're in the States. As for tools, a 5, 5.5, and 6.5 millimeter hook, scissors, stitch markers, and a tape measure. There's a written pattern down below. Use offer code TCD DIY for a discount off any $9.99 plus order. Watch to the end of the video to learn how to enter this week's giveaway. We're using 6 stitches for this project, and they will be as follows. Chain, slip stitch, single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet, treble crochet, and double treble crochet. This tutorial is for a size small, but you can adjust it for your size, and we explain how to in the video, so let's get started. Getting this top started, we're first going to grab our category 4 yarn and make a slip knot. Next, we're going to grab our 5 millimeter hook and start off by making a chain the length that we want our collar to be. I want mine to be about 3 inches or 7 centimeters, so I'm going to make a chain of 13. Now that I have my chain, I'm going to block off my last chain, do a chain up of 1. That counts as our turning chain. Into that chain that we blocked off, or the second chain from our hook, we're going to go in with a slip stitch. So insert your hook, yarn over, and pull through everything. Let's do one more together. Into that next chain, insert your hook, yarn over, and pull through everything. Put 1 slip stitch into every chain. Now that we've made our way to the end of our first row, we're going to go in with our second. So we're all going to start off with a chain up of 1. Flip our work, and now we're going to go in with back loop slip stitches. So insert your hook into that first back loop, yarn over, and pull through everything. Let's do one more. Insert your hook into that next back loop, yarn over, and pull through everything. Put 1 back loop slip stitch into every stitch. When we make our way to the end, do a chain up of 1, flip our work, and put 1 back loop slip stitch into every stitch again. And we're going to keep doing this until it can stretch over our head and we have an even number. Alright y'all, so I am back and I have just finished up going in with my collar. I ended up having a total of 88 rows, and that came out to 14.5 inches or 37 centimeters, and that is unstretched. And what we're going to do from here is single crochet along the bottom. The first thing that we're going to need to do is switch out our hook to our 6.5 millimeter hook. Once we have that, we're going to do a chain up of 1 at the edge. I already have mine done, and we're going to be putting 1 single crochet into every side slip stitch row. So to do the first set together, my first side slip stitch row is this one right here. I'm going to find that top loop, insert my hook into there. It might be a little snug, but we got it. We're going to pull through and pull through 2. Let's do the next one. This is my next side slip stitch row. Insert your hook into the top of that row and single crochet. Continue putting 1 single crochet on the top of each row. So we have just made our way all the way across, going in with our single crochet row. We are now going to seam up our work, but we are first going to switch out for our 5 millimeter hook. Once we have that, we're going to insert our hook into the corner stitch of the front panel and also into the corner stitch of the back panel. Going to pull through and do a chain up of 1. From here, we're going to single crochet the front and the back panel together. So into the next available stitch into the front panel, insert your hook, and into the next available stitch into the back panel, insert your hook into there. Once when our hook is in through both panels, we're going to single crochet. We're going to keep doing this going all the way down until we don't have any more stitches left. Do a chain up of 1 and cut. So now that we have seamed up our collar, before we get started on the body, we're going to need to section some things off. So the first thing that we're going to do is insert our stitch markers into the 2 single crochets that we have on both sides of our seam. From there, we're going to find the middle stitches. There should be 2 since we ended up having an even number. And if you guys are going in with my numbers, just counting from one of our stitch marker stitches, I inserted my stitch markers into the 44th and 45th stitch. And this is going to mark off the front panel. We'll come back to this in a minute. But once we have this in between the 2 stitch markers that we just inserted, we're going to have to find that middle stitch, and this is going to be where our shoulder is going to be. If you guys are going in with my numbers, from one of our stitch markers, it should be into the 22nd and 23rd stitch, and I did the same thing on the other side. From here, we're going to take a look back at the 2 stitch markers that we have. That's going to be for the front panel. We're going to count out an additional 2 stitches. So here's 1, here's 2. Insert your stitch marker into there and do the same thing on the other side. So here's 1, here's 2. From there, we can take out those 2 middle stitch markers. And we just marked off where our cable is going to be. There should be 6 stitches in total. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Once we have that all finished up, we are ready to go in with our detail. And now that we have that sectioned off, we're going to work in with our cable. We're first going to go in with our 5mm hook. And then we're going to make sure that our work is flipped right side up and right side out, meaning our seam is along the inside. We're first going to insert our hook into the stitch marker that we have on the right. Insert your yarn onto our hook, pull through. We're going to do a chain up of 2. This counts as a half double crochet. We're going to put 1 half double crochet into every stitch until we hit our next stitch marker. So let's do the next half double crochet together. Let's prepare for a half double crochet. Insert your hook into that next loop. Pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Keep doing this until we hit our next stitch marker. Now that we've made our way down to the end, do a chain up of 2. Flip our work. Put 1 half double crochet into every stitch, and counting that first chain up of 2, we should have a total of 6. Once we have our 2 half double crochet rows, let's do a chain up of 2 and flip our work. From here, we're going to prepare for a front post double treble, so yarn over 1, 2, 3 times. Once we have that, we're going to count out 1, 2, 3 half double crochets from the first half double crochet row and insert our hook behind that post. We're going to yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Once we have just 2 loops left on our hook, we're going to combine it with a half double crochet so that we don't have a gap in the front. So yarn over and insert your hook into that first stitch that we have into the previous row. So bringing it back, insert, pull through. We should have 4 loops on our hook. From here, we're going to yarn over and pull through all 4 of those loops. And that is our first stitch. We're going to do another front post double treble because they are worked in sets of 2. And it's going to go into that next half double crochet. So yarn over 1, 2, 3 times. Into that next half double crochet, insert your hook, pull through. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2. Now we're going to work into those 2 that we skipped, so the first and the second half double crochet in the first row. So yarn over 1, 2, 3 times. Bring our work back into that post that we skipped, pull through 2, 2, 2, 2, and we have one more left to do. So yarn over 1, 2, 3 times. Insert your hook into that last post that we have, pull through 2, 2, 2, 2. Now to close off our cables, we're going to be doing a set of 2 front post treble crochets, but the last one is going to be combined with a half double crochet, kind of like how we started off this row. So just for this second to last one, we're going to do a yarn over of 2, insert your hook into that second to last post, pull through 2, 2, 2, and then into that last post, yarn over twice, insert your hook into that next post, pull through 2, 2, and now that we have 2 loops on our hook, we're going to combine it with our half double. So prepare for a half double crochet, insert your hook into the last stitch that we have into the previous row, yarn over, pull through. We should have 4 loops on our hook, yarn over, and pull through all 4. Once we have that, we're going to do a chain up of 2, flip our work. Prepare for a half double crochet, and put 1 half double crochet into every stitch. Now that we've made our way down with our half double crochet row, we're now going to do a chain up of 2, and we're going to get started on our second cable stitch row. So we're always going to start and end by combining our posts with a half double crochet. So let's do this next one together. We're going to start off by doing a set of 2 front post treble crochets, but the first is combined with a half double. So yarn over 1, 2 times. Insert your hook behind that first post that we have into our previous cable stitch row. Insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now that we have just 2 loops left on our hook, we're going to prepare for a half double crochet. Insert your hook into the first stitch from the previous row, pull through. You should have 4 loops on our hook, so yarn over and pull through all 4. Do a front post treble crochet into that next post. So yarn over 1, 2 times. Insert your hook into that next post, pull through 2, 2, and 2. We're now going to go in with another set of 2 front post double trebles, but we're going to be skipping these next 2. So yarn over 1, 2, 3 times. Skip these next 2 posts and then insert your hook into that second to last, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, 2, and 2. We're going to go in with one more, so yarn over 1, 2, 3 times. Into that last post, pull through 2, 2, 2, 2. We now need to do a crossover, so we're going to insert our work underneath this window that we just made for ourselves. So we're all going to start off by yarning over 1, 2, 3 times. Make sure you're hanging onto your yarn because it can very easily fall off your hook, but we're going to pull our work down and try to find these 2 stitches that we have left in this window. So pull our work down, and then find those 2 posts that we skipped. So here's my first and here's my second. Insert your hook into that first, and then finish off your front post double treble. So yarn over, pull through 2, 2, 2, 2, and we have one more, but since this is the last stitch that we have in this row, we are going to be combining it with a half double crochet. So yarn over 1, 2, 3 times. Hang on to your yarn, pull our work down, insert your hook into that last stitch, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now that we have 2 loops left on our hook, we are going to yarn over and then insert our hook into the last stitch that we have in the previous row. So insert your hook into there, yarn over, pull through. We should now have 4 loops on our hook. Yarn over and pull through all 4. Once we have that, do a chain up of 2, flip our work, pull 1 half double crochet into every stitch. Alright, so we are back and we have just finished up going in with our first 6 rows of our cable stitch section. From here, we're just going to be repeating rows 3 through 6 until we get the length of the top that we want, keeping in mind that we will have a bottom band as well. If you guys need a refresher on what those are, there will be timestamps in the description, or feel free to leave a comment down below. But I'll meet you guys back once we have the length of this finished up. Alright, so we are back with the length of our cable stitches. I ended up having 35 rows, and that came out to 14.5 inches or 37 centimeters. From here, we're going to start working on our side panel. So we're going to start off by single crocheting along the length of our cable stitch detail, alternating between 1 to 2 single crochets. So from where we're at, we're going to do a chain up of 1 into my first side half double crochet right here. We're going to go in with 1 single crochet. Into my next side half double crochet, we're going to switch and put 2 single crochets into there, and keep alternating just like that, making our way all the way down, and I'll meet you guys back at the base. And now that we've single crocheted all the way down to our base, we're going to slip stitch into that base. So into the next available stitch that we have, we're going to insert our hook, yarn over, and pull through everything. When we have that, we're going to work our way up to a half double crochet. So slip stitch into the next 2 available stitches. So there's 1, and then there's 2. From here, flip your work, and then we're going to go in, putting 1 half double crochet into every back loop. So into this first back loop that we have, insert your hook, pull through 3. Prepare, into that next back loop, pull through 3. And put 1 back loop half double crochet into every stitch. I'll meet you guys back at the end of this row. And now that we've made our way down to the end, we're going to do a row of back loop single crochets. So go ahead and do a chain up of 1. I already have mine. Flip your work, insert your hook into that first back loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Next back loop, pull through, and pull through 2. And keep doing this, going all the way down, and we're going to connect it into the base the same way that we just did. So slip stitch into the next stitch into the base to close off our single crochet row. To work our way up to the half double, slip stitch up the next 2, flip your work, put 1 back loop half double crochet into every stitch, and keep alternating like that until we hit our shoulder stitch marker. Alright guys, so now that we have made our way all the way down until we hit our stitch marker, now we're going to do a little shoulder portion, but it's going to be done exactly the same way, except we're not going to be connecting into the base. So if you guys ended up at the top like me, we're going to do a chain out of 2, flip our work, and put 1 back loop half double crochet into every stitch. If you guys ended on the bottom, do a chain out of 1, bring your work up, putting 1 back loop single crochet into every stitch, and then a chain out of 2. And we're going to keep doing that until we get a shoulder portion that we like. And we do want to make sure that we're all meeting back along the blunt end, because then we're going to work our way up with our underarm portion from there. Alright guys, so I am back with my shoulder portion. I ended up doing an additional 5 rows off of my neck. And then once we have that, we are all going to insert our stitch marker where we want our underarm portion to start. From the top, counting all the way down to the bottom, I inserted my stitch marker into my 22nd stitch. And then since we all should have ended along the blunt end, we're going to do a chain up of 1, 2 back loop single crochets coming all the way down until we have 2 stitches right before our stitch marker. We've just worked our single crochets down until we have 2 stitches right before our stitch marker. We're now going to do a decrease. Insert your hook into that second to last back loop, pull through. Into that last back loop, pull through. We should have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. From here, we're going to do a chain up of 2 and flip our work. Our next row is a half double crochet row, so we're going to start off with a decrease of 2 back loop half double crochets. Prepare for a half double crochet. Insert your hook into that next back loop, pull through. Also into the back loop after that. Pull through, we should have 4 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through all 4. Put 1 back loop half double crochet into every stitch. When we make our way down to the end, do a chain up of 1, flip our work. Put 1 back loop single crochet into every stitch while decreasing into the last 2. We're going to maintain a decrease along this end until this reaches our mid underarm. And then I'll meet you guys back just so I can talk you guys how to get started on the other side. All right, so I have just finished up going in with my one side panel. We're going to do the next one right now, but it's going to be done the exact same way. I'm just going to show you guys where you're going to insert your hook and then repeat. So since on this side, we started our side panel down here, we're going to insert our hook along the bottom here, and then repeat our single crochets into every side half double, and then back loop half double, back loop single. Once we reach the end, do our shoulder portion and then our underarm. So go ahead and get your other side panel all finished up, and then I'll meet you guys back so we can do the back. All right, so we are back and we have just finished up going in with both of our front panels. From here, we can get started on the back. So as you guys can see, I already have one of my back panels all finished up. So we're going to get started on the first one with you guys together, because the first and the second aren't going to start off exactly the same. So getting started on your first back panel, we're going to insert our hook into the stitch that our stitch marker is into, that's right next to our seam. We're then going to make a chain count that is the same amount of single crochets that was made along the side of our cable. So if you guys are going in with the same numbers as me, I ended up having a total of 52. So from here, insert your yarn, pull through, and make your chain. And now that we have our chain, we're going to block off that last chain, do a chain up of 1. Into that chain that we blocked off, or the second chain from our hook, we're going to go in with a single crochet. Put 1 single crochet into every chain, and I'll meet you guys back so I can show you guys how to insert it into the base. And now that we've made our way down with our single crochet row, we are going to attach it into the base. And just for this first row, for our first back panel, we're going to be slip stitching it into the same stitch that our chain is coming out of, because we don't want this stitch to be taken away from our neck. So what we're going to do is insert our hook into that same stitch just to attach this first row. And then from here, everything else will be the same. Slip stitch into the next 2, flip our work, and then put 1 back loop half double crochet into each. And then from here, we're just going to work our way all the way down until we hit our shoulder stitch marker, and then we're going to repeat everything that we did along the front. So do the same amount of rows as our shoulder, same amount of rows as our underarm, do a chain up of 1 and cut. Once we're done with our first back panel, I'll meet you guys back so we can get started on the second one together. All right, now that you guys should have your first back panel all finished up, we're now going to get started on the second half. And this is going to be done pretty much exactly the same way. We're just going to start our first row a little bit different. So what we're going to do is insert our hook into the last stitch that we have into the original chain that we made, making sure we're going in through that back loop. And from here, we're going to pull through, do a chain up of 1. And then from here, put 1 back loop single crochet into every stitch, making our way up, slip stitching it into that next stitch that we have. And then everything else is going to be done exactly the same. And we're only doing it this way so that we don't have to have a really big seam down the back. But go ahead and get this next panel finished up, and I'll meet you guys back so that we can seam everything up together. All right, so we are back and we have just finished up going in with our back panel. And now we are ready to seam up our side. So what we're first going to do is insert our hook into the corner stitch into the front panel and into the corner stitch into the back panel. Here we're going to pull through and do a chain up of 1. And then we're going to single crochet the front and the back panel together. So into that next available stitch into the front panel, insert your hook, and then into the next available stitch into the back panel, insert your hook into there, then we're going to single crochet. And keep doing that until we don't have any more stitches left, and then do a chain up of 1 and cut. And now that we have seamed up our side, we are now ready to seam up our shoulder portion. So the first thing we're going to do is insert our hook into those two loops that our front and our back panel is coming out of when it comes to our collar. So go into those two loops, insert your yarn onto your hook and pull through. We're inserting into there to eliminate any gaps. To a chain up 1. And from here we're going to single crochet, putting 1 single crochet in through the front and the back panel at the same time, and we're going to be putting 1 into every row that we have. So my next row is this side half double crochet row. So insert your hook into there, into the front panel, into the same row, into the back panel, insert your hook with 1 single crochet. My next row is this side single, so insert, find the same in the back, and then single crochet. And then keep doing this, going all the way down. When we don't have any more stitches left, do a chain up of 1 and cut, and then do the same side seam and shoulder seam on the other side. So now that everything is seamed up, we are now ready to get started on our sleeve. So the first thing that we're going to do is insert our hook into the stitch that we have that's right next to our side seam. So this is mine. I'm going to insert my hook and pull through. And then from here, we have a bunch of side rows to work into. So I'm just going to be putting 1 single crochet into each of those, and then put 1 single crochet into each of these stitches, going up and over our shoulder, 1 single crochet into each of these stitches, and then slip stitch into the chain up of 1 space. Now that we've made our way all the way around with our first single crochet row, our next row is going to be a row of just a few decreases, and we're going to start off with single crochets to half doubles going all the way around and closing off our single crochets. So we're first going to start off by doing a chain up of 1 and flip our work. Now that my work is flipped, I'm going to be going in with 1 single crochet into the next 6 stitches, and I chose 6 because I had 6 underarm rows right here. So go ahead and make the same amount of back loop single crochets. Now that I have my 6 single crochets, we're next going to do a decrease of 2 single crochets. So into that next back loop, pull through, into that next back loop, pull through. We should have 3 loops on our hook, so yarn over, and pull through all 3. And then from here, this is going to be a little bit different for everyone, and the numbers don't need to even out or match up. We just want to make sure that we're putting our decrease of 2 back loop half double crochets where our seam is up on top. So from here, I'm going to go in with back loop half doubles. When I reach somewhere along the top right here, I'm going to do my decrease and go back in with back loop half double crochets. Right before we get started with that though, we're going to need to insert our stitch marker, and we're going to count up the same amount of single crochets that we made. So I did 6. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to add 2 on top of that for the decrease. So here's 6, 7, 8. Insert my stitch marker into there. So from here, I'm just going to half double crochet, decrease, half double, decrease of 2 single crochets, and then single crochet. So I'll meet you guys back once we hit our shoulder seam so that we can do our half double decrease. Now that I've made my way all the way up to my shoulder seam with my back loop half double crochets, together we're going to decrease. So prepare for a half double crochet. Insert your hook into that next back loop, pull through, into that next back loop, pull through. We should have 4 loops on our hook, yarn over, and pull through all 4. And from here, go all the way down, putting 1 back loop half double into every stitch. Once we hit our stitch marker, we're going to do a decrease of 2 back loop single crochets, then close off with the same amount of single crochets that we started off with. Once we have that, slip stitch into the chain up of 1 space, do a chain up of 1, flip our work. And this is going to count as our half double crochet row. So our next row is going to be a row of single crochets, just putting 1 back loop single crochet into every stitch. And then for the row after that, we're going to do the same thing. The same amount of single crochets with our decrease, and put back loop half double crochets going all the way up until we hit the shoulder seam, decrease, and then do the same thing in reverse, working our way back down. And we're going to keep alternating between those 2 rows until this portion just reaches a little over our shoulder. So we want just a little spillover. And then I'll meet you guys back so we can go in with the length of our sleeve from there. All right, you guys, so I am back with my super tiny cap sleeve, and I ended up just doing a total of 5 of these rows. And from here, we can now try this on and then measure from where our hook is down to where we want our sleeve to be, keeping in mind that we will have a cuff as well. So mine's going to be a total of 14 inches or 36 centimeters, or that's going to be 45 chains. Now that we have our chain, we're going to block off that last chain. We're going to do a chain up of 2. That's our half double crochet turning chain. We're going to prepare for a half double crochet and then insert your hook into that chain that we blocked off or the third chain from our hook with a half double. Put 1 half double crochet into every chain. And now that we've half double crocheted all the way down into every chain, we now need to slip stitch it into the base. So once we make our way down here, we're going to count up 1, count up 2. We're going to slip stitch into that second stitch to close off this half double crochet row. And then from here, we're going to work our way up to the next row by doing 1 slip stitch into the next stitch, flip our work, and then put 1 back loop single crochet into every stitch. When we make our way down to the end, do a chain up of 2, flip our work, put 1 back loop half double crochet into every stitch, and slip stitch it into the base the same way that we just did. And we are going to keep doing that, going all the way around our sleeve, and then I'll meet you guys back so that we can seam it up together. Alright, so we are back and I have just made my way all the way around with my sleeve, and now we're just going to seam it up. And this will be seamed up the same way everything else has been seamed up, so let's just do the first one together. Right before we get started, we are going to want to make sure that our work is flipped wrong side out, meaning that our cable is flipped inside out. But now we can get started, so go ahead and insert your hook into the first available stitch into the front panel, and the first available stitch into the back panel, and single crochet. And keep doing this, going all the way down. Now that we have just seamed up the entirety of our sleeve, we're now going to start working in with the cuff. So the first thing we're going to do is switch out for our 6.5mm hook, and then we're going to make our way all the way around, putting 1 single crochet into every side row. So go ahead and do a chain up of 1. This is my first side row right here, so I'm going to insert my hook, single crochet. My next side row, single crochet, and keep doing this, going all the way around. Now that we've single crocheted all the way around and slip stitched into that chain up of 1 space, now we're going to make a chain the length that we want our cuff to be. And I want mine to be 3.5 inches or 9 centimeters, so I'm going to start off by making a chain of 12. Now that I have my chain, I'm going to block off my last chain, do a chain up of 1, that's my turning chain. Into that chain that we blocked off, with a second chain from our hook, we're going to go in with a slip stitch. Put 1 slip stitch into every chain that we have. Now that we've made our way down our chain with our slip stitches, we're now going to slip stitch it into the base. Into that next available stitch we have into the base, slip stitch into there to close off this first row. To work our way up to the next row, we're going to slip stitch into the next, flip our work, and put 1 back loop slip stitch into every stitch. When we make our way down to the end, do a chain up of 1, flip your work, and then put 1 back loop slip stitch into every stitch, making our way back to the base, connecting it the same way that we just did. I'll meet you guys back when we don't have any more stitches left so that we can seam it up. Alright, so we have just made our way all the way down with our cuff and we don't have any more stitches left, so now we're just going to seam it up. And it's going to be done the same way, so we're going to start off by inserting our hook into the first available stitch into the front panel and into the first available stitch into the back panel. Here we're going to yarn over and pull through everything. And then just to start this off, we're going to insert our hook into the next available stitch into the front panel, and then into the next available stitch into the back panel, and then single crochet. We're going to keep doing this until we don't have any more stitches left. Once we make our way down to the end, do a chain up of 1 and cut, and then do the same exact thing that we did for this sleeve on the other side. And now that we have both of our sleeves done, we can now go in with our bottom band. The first thing that we're going to do is insert our 6.5mm hook into the stitch that's right next to our side seam, and we're going to be going across the front just for video's sake, but they're going to be the same like I said. We're going to insert our yarn onto our hook and pull through. From here, we're going to do a chain up of 1 to secure, and from here we're going to make our way all the way around, putting 1 single crochet into every side row, and then slip stitch into that chain up of 1 space. And now that we've made our way across with our single crochet, we're now going to go in with the length of our bottom band. I want mine to be about 5 inches or 13 centimeters. So from here, I'm going to start off by making a chain of 16. Once we have our chain, we're going to block off that last chain, do a chain up of 1. Into that chain that we blocked off, or the second chain from our hook, we're going to insert with a slip stitch, put 1 slip stitch into every chain. And now that we've slip stitched into every chain, just like how we did for the cuff, we're going to be slip stitching into the next available stitch into the base. So to close off this row, insert your hook into that next stitch into the base with a slip stitch. And to work our way up to the next row, slip stitch into the next, and put one back loop slip stitch into every stitch. And keep going all the way down with rows of back loop slip stitches, connecting it into the base the same way that we just did. And then I'll meet you guys back when we don't have any more stitches left so that we can seam everything up together. Alright, so I've just made my way all the way around with my bottom band, and we're going to seam it up a little bit differently. So we're first going to want to make sure that our work is flipped right side up and right side out. So we're going to insert our hook, making sure that we're going in through the first available stitch into the front panel, first available stitch into the back panel. I will be inserting my yarn onto my hook since I did cut mine. I will pull through and do a chain up of 1. And now we're going to do an outside loop slip stitch into the front and the back panel at the same time. So into the next available stitch I have into the front panel, insert your hook into the loop that's closest to you. And then into the same stitch that we have into the back panel, insert your hook into the loop that's furthest away from you. Now that our hook is in through there, we're going to yarn over and pull through everything on our hook. Let's do this one more time. So into that next available stitch, insert your hook into that front loop, and then into your next available stitch into the back panel, insert your hook into that back loop. From here, yarn over and pull through everything. And we are going to keep doing that, going all the way down. And now that we have seamed up our bottom band, we are actually all done. The last thing that we're going to do is weave in all of our ends. Our ends are tucked away and our sweater is all finished. I love the look of this classic knit sweater, but it's better because it's crochet. With each video, I've been learning and perfecting our techniques, and I'm really happy to share them with you guys because I love seeing your remakes. If you make anything, be sure to share them with us on Instagram so we can feature you in our highlights. There is a written pattern down below. Use offer code TCDDIY for a discount off any $9.99 plus order. Enter this week's pattern giveaway by telling us what your zodiac sign is. Good luck to everyone who enters. Also, if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up because believe it or not, it really helps. And be sure to share us on Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, and Facebook. Those links are down below. Link to our Etsy page is down there too if you want to buy this piece or any other piece on the channel. And be sure to favorite the shop so you don't miss out on new patterns and exclusive deals. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next one.